is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
No. Y'all, just stop. This is a sham. Welcome to DBL. Happy Monday, everybody. It's already getting fiery in here.
It is.
Yeah. Because we got some good stories. I'm just going to give you a little inside peek. Britney Spears is coming up in the next block, so stick around. But how's everyone doing? How's your weekend?
Good. I was at the National Association of Black Journalists in Vegas this week.
How was it?
Last week. It was amazing.
Was it?
Yes, the first time back in a couple years, obviously, because of COVID. So everybody was really excited to be there. Met some really awesome people. Hey, everybody.
Good connections, had fun.
Yeah, of course.
I love it. I love it. I didn't do anything as productive as that whatsoever. Okay, let's get to some stories. A lot of pool and a lot of
drinks.
Lemonade. Okay, so as you probably heard, actress Heche was involved in a serious car crash on Friday when her Mini Cooper smashed into a home in LA, setting the house on fire. You may remember Anne from movies like 6 Days, 7 Nights and Donnie Brasco. She also used to date Ellen DeGeneres and suffered severe burns, and she's still in the hospital. So there is some footage of being taken away on a stretcher, and her car was badly burned by the fire, as you can see there. A doorbell cam caught Anne's speeding car. Wow. Down the road. You can even hear the crash right there at the end. TMZ got this photo of Anne in her car before the crash, and in the cup holder, this is speculation, is a bottle with a red cap that many say is a certain brand of vodka. So according to TMZ, the police have a warrant to test her blood to see if she was intoxicated. The homeowner is okay, but according to neighbors, she's lucky to be alive because her house was totally destroyed. This GoFundMe page has been set up for her and has raised more than $60,000. Wow, this is horrific, and I mean, it could have been a lot worse. Anne could have lost her life, the woman could have lost her life. I mean, the way things turned out, I don't know, could you say is lucky the way they did? It shouldn't have happened in the first place, but when do we get something back, Tori, quickly to go to the legal side of this? They already have the results, right, of her blood, so it's maybe
the hospital does, but that's under medical records. So in order for the police to get that vial of blood, they need a warrant because it's seizing something.
And then when would it become public record, if ever? Would it?
It's sort of up to the judge whether to unseal that or seal the medical records. But at this point, it doesn't look great. The evidence is sort of there in some respects. Even Rosie and other people, O'Donnell, were saying, is this drunk driving? Possibly. I mean, again, it's speculation. She's in an intubator right now, intubated, so I give her all my thoughts and prayers. But if this was alcohol-induced, I have a hard time with that.
I have a hard time with the story.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Period. Because first of all, that wasn't the only fiery crash that day in LA County.
Yes.
There was another one that claimed 6 lives, and that person who was behind the vehicle was immediately detained at the hospital. I just have questions about why it needs to take so long to get Anne Heche's blood, but clearly that wasn't the case for the 40-year-old nurse who caused the fiery crash. This is it's so weird because there was so much talk about prayers for Anne, and I'm not trying to be just whatever about it, but it's this woman was in the safety of her own home, and someone who clearly was not in a position for whatever reason to be behind a vehicle was in a vehicle and destroyed everything in this woman's home, and she can't even live there. Her house has been red tagged.
Right.
So it's that's who I'm thinking about. She was a renter. There's so many things that she's having to deal with because of someone who shouldn't have been driving.
And the police are looking into what happened before she got in that bad crash. She actually hit an apartment complex garage and then sped off, which is probably where she was speeding from. But, it's also homeowners that live next door to where the bad accident happened were we saw a hole through this home, a hole. We thought that everyone was dead. So again, everyone is happy that no one died. That was a terrible, terrible crash. But also, this is not the first incident that Anne Heche had when it comes down to erotic behavior. In 2000, after she broke up with Ellen, she reportedly walked into someone's house, blamed it on ecstasy, and just imagine what that means, walking in someone's house and people have guns, anything. It's like protecting themselves. They don't know who you are. You just walk in their home. And so this is just kind of somebody that I think needs to get some counseling and some help after this, depending on what was in that bottle or what wasn't. Either way, obviously, you need to talk to somebody and figure out how to get your life together.
Yeah, and a bottle, just, I don't want to jump all over Anne Heche, even though we should, right? Because if I did that, I'd be in jail right now.
Right.
So I don't know, like certain celebrities get you out of certain things, right? No bottle looks like that. It has a very specific top. I'm not pointing fingers. We have to say it allegedly. But Alec Baldwin is actually coming to Anne Heche's defense in some sort of way here. I think we have a clip about Alec Baldwin, and we'll talk about it after.
Hey, I just wanted to send out my best wishes and all my love to Anne Heche. I did a movie with her, a very 90s thriller. And then we did the play The 20th Century. And Anne got nominated for a Tony for playing Lily Garland. Lily Garland. My heart goes out to you. I'm sorry that you had this tragic thing happen to you, and I'm sending you all my love, okay? Everybody join me, please, in sending their support and love to the wonderful Anne Heche.
First of all, that tragic thing didn't happen to her. She caused that to happen, okay? So,
well said.
And
well
two,
said.
Alec Baldwin, what are you doing, guy?
Get out of the chat room, dude. Read the room. This guy cannot read a room. Unless, and I think what Lindsay, you said earlier about trolling, I'm wondering if he's doing this on purpose at this point. Because we don't want your take on someone almost killing someone else when you did kill someone else and you're in your own heap of trouble. Stay out of it. He is so tone deaf.
Does that almost make it worse for like Anne Heche in some sort of way? Because you're kind of like, wait a second. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
For someone to speed like that or to get into these accidents or have sort of that past, right? I'm not, again, going there, but something's wrong, I'm guessing, with Anne Heche. I'm not a doctor, but something's wrong for you to make you be drinking and driving at that speed during the day. Something's up, right? So she needs to get the help that she needs. But to defend her in some sort of way and saying, I'm sorry this happened to you, that's not helping anybody.
At all. It was the listing out the movie roles that they played in together for me.
Really gone.
Like, it was just so weird. That was just so trash. And I think that's why I said he is trolling. But also for Anne Heche, I think nobody wants the guy that killed somebody and is being investigated for that defending them. Just stay out of the conversation. Like, nobody needs that input. Nobody wants that input. And so I think that he really is just like playing up this whole bad guy role, but nobody wants to hear from him.
Is it because he's so narcissistic that he can't stay out of the conversation?
I don't know. It might have to do with like somebody else did something. Let me just
deflect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good point. It's so weird.
Well, I'm sure we'll be hearing more, hopefully, about like whether she was legally drunk and things like that. So maybe we'll touch on it later in the week. But some sad news to report.
Yeah.
We should have put the package together with Boys to Men and everything.
Should have been the first story.
Now that we've come.
It's hard to say goodbye.
No, that's a different Boys to Men song. But End of the Road.
End of the Road. I was singing because it's the
ones.
end of the road for Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson. See how I did that?
Yeah.
I used the real words.
Yeah, it was
in
better.
there?
It was
okay.
better.
All right. So according to Page 6, the two broke up on Friday after 9 months of dating. The main factor, their age. Kim is 41. Pete is 28. Sources say Pete wanted Kim to fly wherever he was at a moment's notice, but Kim has 4 kids and was totally exhausted by the relationship and all the other things going on in her life. Meantime, Kim's ex, Kanye West, wasted no time in trolling the breakup and announced the couple's, quote, death on Instagram. We had to block that little word out. Go look it up for yourself. Kim, on the other hand, modeled Yeezy sunglasses on social media with her daughter, and Pete's mom posted a throwback pic of her son in honor of her sister's graduation for no reason.
Yeah, that's like a mommy support post. Like, oh, don't worry about it, son.
What?
Good times with the family.
Hey, Pete caught her bass over the weekend. His cousin. What? Who cares?
It's a little random.
Okay, whatever. But what do we think? No, you guys are speechless? What's happening?
No, everybody knew. I mean, I knew that this wasn't going to work out. To me, Pete Davidson reminded me of Chris Humphries. Like, whatever the days that lasted, I thought this was going to last around the same amount of days.
Technically, Pete's was longer, right?
It was longer.
Yeah.
9 months
longer.
or 62 days. Or 72. I keep getting that wrong. So a little more than 2 months. This lasted 9 months.
That was a marriage.
I think she's going to get back with Kanye. Unpopular opinion.
Ooh.
I do think she's going to get back with Kanye.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the Pete thing was a detour. I mean, we all know that.
Yes.
But yeah, everyone was talking about how Kris Jenner was Kris Jennering because it was like
Khloe.
first we got Kim and Pete broke up. Khloe has just had a baby.
Oh yeah, I know.
On the same day.
I'm like, does one thing have to happen in order to counter the other? Like, is this how we always get Kardashian news?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they had to kill Kim and Pete in order for Khloe to live.
How do you guys feel to let her soar? How do you guys feel about him getting the tattoos?
That was weird from the beginning. How are you gonna have other people's children on your neck?
Yeah.
Like, nah.
And my girlfriend's a lawyer. Not anymore, but
It starts to be like a work of art. Doesn't he have all his ex-girlfriends tatted on him?
yeah.
It's like a work.
No,
It's like a piece of art.
The kids are different.
I guess
Them
so.
ain't your babies.
I like how we're like, this is a pit stop for Kim on her way. Listen, I'm sure Pete's not like, well, I don't mind that pit stop. I'm sure he had fun
He had a
too.
good
You know what I mean?
time.
Pete had a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming up on DBL, Kevin Federline says Britney's kids don't want to see her. We'll tell you how Britney is responding. Stick around. trust me.
Uh-oh.
And later, we're joined by the author of Being Britney. She's spilling more surprising details on the pop star's life.
Closed captioning provided by
I think it is one of those stories we're all gonna be like, what? Who raised you?
Why am I right all the time?
Am I going crazy?
Welcome to another week of Jeff's Mustache. So Liz,
What, you want to talk about your weekend, or do you want to talk about backing up that Kanye?
I don't care.
No.
What? Backing it up? I gotta back up my claims?
No. That I think that's interesting that you think that it might go in that direction.
Okay, he bought the house across the street from her. His celebrity is only rising. Nothing
Do you think
happens to
she
stay
would
up.
like-
She likes celebrity culture. Kanye is celebrity culture. He still has the coolest clothes out that are going for like $1,000 a pop, probably for those glasses.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's benefiting his kids' college fund too. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think she still likes him.
So you think she could kind of let bygones be bygones?
I think
for
they
what
needed a
happened?
break, and now pick it right on back up like it never left.
Oh wow.
That's just what she likes.
I don't know why I want them to
If
get back
Kim- if
together.
they got
I
back
don't know why I
together,
want
we
them
would
to
not
get
be
together. I
doing
know it's
any
not the
other
popular
news
thing to
except
say.
Kim and Kanye.
I know that he's ridiculous. I know that he made her cry in the car and we have paparazzi shots, so I really hope that he changed his ways, thought about this time by himself.
Dre, who do you think Kim Kardashian? I love trying to figure out what genre she'll date next, and by that I mean like a politician, an athlete. Like I love guessing like that.
I think Kim's gonna be in her singles season.
Really?
I think this has all been too much.
I think she's going towards
Kanye,
first lady.
Peter, exactly.
That's
But
the
So
next status.
politician?
maybe.
Well, only person that's single that's going for the presidency probably in the near future is like Cory Booker. I think he's still single.
I don't think that's
I
bad.
So I
think
don't
there's
think
going
that's
to be.
gonna happen.
There might be one in between because it's a 2024 election. That's what
Yeah, he's-
matters.
right.
So it might slide
She's
one
definitely
in
not going to
between.
get with any of the candidates that are
Yeah,
names
yeah.
are up for right now. So I don't know. Maybe,
Why are we
maybe
obsessed with that?
maybe a wife of another country.
Like
first-
a royal.
Yeah, first lady, like, of another country. Like Lisa Ray was the first lady of Turks and Caicos for quite some time, and then that didn't work
I
out.
want to like start a raffle. Yeah.
Welcome back. Britney Spears is at war with her ex, Kevin Federline. Speaking to the Daily Mail, Kevin said their two sons are choosing not to see Britney. The boys, who are 15 and 16, didn't want to go to Britney's wedding back in June. Kevin also said he had a hard time explaining Britney's posing nearly nude on Instagram because it's tough on the kids since they are still in high school. Understandable. Maybe. We're going to get Tori's thoughts. Britney fired back on Instagram saying raising teenage boys is never easy for anyone and said the issue with her sons has been going on for a long time. Before Instagram, she called the comments hurtful and blamed her mother for insisting she give her sons to their dad. So Britney's husband, Sam, also chimed in on social media. He said there was no validity to Kevin's statements about their sons and said the tough part for the kids was having a father who hasn't worked much in over 15 years as a role model. model.
He also ended it by saying, "I will not comment on this matter again, except to say I have a job."
Let me
low blow.
Let me just get in on that last comment right now. What if I said that about a woman who was taking care of the kids and was getting paid by the husband that they broke up? What would happen then?
Oh, Jeff, you're making it too serious.
What would happen?
Come on.
No, that's serious. What would happen?
I don't know. People might say something to you, but also if we thought you were in a situation where you weren't being helpful and you were being antagonistic to the wide public that's watching this whole thing go out, like there has to be a way that your 15 and 16-year-old, 16 years in the game, could get along with their mom and their dad and in their new relationship. So you have to be part of the problem if that's not working. Like the kids don't make all the decisions. Like I'm telling you, when Kinsley's 15, she's not going to be like, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that.
Would you
probably
take pictures like that, like Britney Spears, if you were?
It's my body. I'm going to take the pictures of my choosing.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's it. And I don't think like her and her new man need to discuss it, or she should discuss it with her kids, not with Kevin Federline. They have no attachment besides to take care of these kids together, and that's her body.
And also, she said, Sam said, to clarify, my wife has never posted a nude except for her butt, which is quite modest these days. All other posts were implied nudity, which can be seen in any ad for lotion, for soap, on Kim Kardashian, on Beyonce, on other people. She just doesn't have the glossy people behind her to make it look good. She's just exploring her sexuality, which she didn't have the ability to do during her abusive conservatorship, in my opinion.
The timing is funky, y'all. These kids about to age out. Kevin Federline needs to get his hand on a bag, clearly, because he's selling interviews. And to your point about if it was a woman, you have to remember how Kevin Federline became Britney Spears. That whole situation was very much like he was utilizing her before the conservatorship. He was doing his own thing completely. He was.
I know, but what if I said that about a woman? She was utilizing that relationship to get her money.
It was very famous at that time. It was very famous. You don't remember the House of Blues test in Chicago when she pulled the plug?
I want to talk about it all day, but we got other news. Coming up on DBL, speaking of Britney, we sat down with the author of Being Britney to reveal more shocking details about the pop star. Next.
This was...
What's your emergency?
When someone calls 911, dispatchers use geolocation through data acquired from a person's phone to pinpoint the location where an emergency call was placed and send police or other emergency services to that location. Some people online are claiming that calls to 988, the nation's new 3-digit mental health crisis lifeline, which connects callers experiencing a crisis with trained mental health counselors, will also automatically send a person's location to the police. But is that true? Does the 988 suicide prevention lifeline automatically send your location to police? Let's verify. Our sources are the Federal Communications Commission, 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline, and the National Emergency Number Association. The FCC determines which companies and services are allowed to use geolocation. They told Verify that unlike 911, geolocation services are not currently enabled for 988. That applies to call, text, and chat features. According to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline website, the lifeline will route a person's call to a mental health counselor at their nearest crisis center by using their phone number's area code. 988 doesn't directly transfer calls to 911, according to April Hines, 911 Operations Director for the nonprofit National Emergency Number Association. If a person is at imminent risk of harming themselves or someone else and is unwilling or unable to share their location information, counselors will provide any information they have, such as a person's phone number or a chat user's computer IP address, to 911 operators. Then the 911 dispatcher uses the phone number or IP address to locate the caller and send police. But according to NINA and SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, this is rare. They said fewer than 2% of calls require this type of action. So we can verify, no. The 988 Suicide Prevention Lifeline does not automatically send your location to police.
We just finished chatting about Britney Spears, and there's a new book all about why America is so obsessed with her life. Earlier, we spoke with the author of Being Britney, Jennifer Otter Bikerdike.
So I'm a Britney fan, so I got to get right to this. Now, as you did your research for this biography, what were like the shocking things that you found out about Britney? Because I'm sure you were pretty well versed going in.
It's fantastic that you are admitting. Like, one of the things I found out is that a lot of people were embarrassed and had shame about being a fan of Britney, which to me, I was like, really? Like, but it does make sense. And in terms of Britney, I think that is one of the reasons we've rallied so much around her, is because she's both seen as an outsider, even though she's this massive, huge pop figure. I mean, she's one of the best-selling artists of all time, and yet people still see her as this outcast on the perimeters in a lot of ways. So that I found really interesting, and I was surprised to think of her in that way, because I'd never thought of her that way. Something else that really surprised me, and you might think this sounds strange, we came to know Britney as a singer, but I've completely forgotten that she sings. Now, I know that sounds obvious again, but if you think about some of the best Britney songs, like Piece of Me or Work, those songs, she's so produced. And I got to hear a version of her singing You Ought to Know. It's a cover she does of the Alanis Morissette song. There's no fireworks, there's no dancers, it's just Britney. And I was blown away. I'm like, oh my goodness, this girl has a voice. And as much as that may not sound surprising, that's why she got into it in the first place. That's one of the reasons we fell in love with her in the first place. And I think that's something we've really forgotten.
Yeah.
Great.
So you've only met Britney once, back in the 2000s during a meet and greet. So people probably will ask you, how can you create a proper portrait of her without knowing her personally, like one-on-one?
That is such a good question. And I think that all of us feel like we know Britney to some degree. And what I mean by that, she's been woven into the material of American culture in so many ways. And the way that I wrote my book is using different things that we know about Britney and the timeline of Britney's life, but showing how Britney both creates and reflects. She's almost a mirror to American culture and values in so many ways. And the deeper I got into it, the more I'm like, okay, well, it starts here with this Britney thing, and then it goes here and it goes here and it goes here. And just as you guys are talking about connecting the dots in your life, I mean, everything that happens over the last 20 years, it's strange. It's like Britney is there in so many different popular culture moments, whether it be what just happened with Roe versus Wade, whether it's PETA, there's just so many things that she has had an impact on. And I don't think that she's given the credit or people really put her in that context. She's become this fodder for like the yellow press in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. So Jennifer, I'm going to push back a little bit because we have this conversation about everybody who writes biographies on this show. And I always question it. So we've never heard the whole story from Britney herself. What do you say to the people who think that you're cashing in on Britney by writing this?
Oh, honey, let me tell you, if you knew how much a writer made, I don't think you'd be asking me that question.
Jennifer!
But also, and I'm talking to the ladies, because I'm loving the ladies on this. I mean, I love the guys too, but something
after that question, I don't blame you.
They just come off writing a book. Yeah, I love all y'all. They just come off writing a book about a woman named Nico who was in a band called the Velvet Underground. And what I saw from that was the misogyny and the mythology that had been really had taken over the years about Nico. I'm like, okay, we think we know Britney, and I'm like, do we know Britney? And so I literally went to the library, I live in London, so I went to the British Library, which sounds so formal, and it is. It's like you're walking these hallowed halls, and I'm like, I'm here to find books on Britney. And there was nothing, no books. There's only really the Rolling Stone that we really know with the Teletubbies. I'm like, where is the serious? And this is something that we didn't say. I'm actually a professor. I have a doctorate in cultural studies, and I'm also a 20-year veteran of the music industry. Wow. So I have all this background experience, and I'm like, here's this woman that has changed and impacted culture so much. How come there's not a serious, thoughtful book that takes her seriously? I was dumbfounded, y'all, that there wasn't anything like that. And that's what I wanted to make. I wanted there to be something, a document. This is my nerd side coming out. I wanted there to be a document that people could look back on and go, wow, look at all these things that Britney did and how she was a touch point for all these key moments in popular culture.
Wow. I can't wait to read this. Anywhere books are sold. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining DBL today and for giving some respect on a name I think that should be given. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
First, the heat wave hit the Northeast. Now, the West Coast is feeling the heat. And many people are looking for the best ways to stay cool without breaking the bank. Verify viewer Jennifer from Texas asked us to verify if one trick that's making the rounds online is true.
Hello, Verify. This is Jennifer from Texas. And what I'd like to know is if covering your air conditioner unit with an umbrella really does help save with power costs and really does make your air conditioner run more efficiently.
So Jennifer, let's verify. Our sources are Wes Davis, Technical Services Director for the Air Conditioning Contractors of America, Florida Solar Energy Center, and Energy Vanguard, a firm that focuses on training and consulting for building performance. Putting a shade over an outdoor AC unit like this one doesn't improve energy efficiency in any noticeable way, according to air conditioning expert Wes Davis.
It's not statistically impactful.
A 1996 study conducted by the Florida Solar Energy Center studied the impact of shading centralized AC units. According to the study, localized shading over a unit could, in theory, reduce electricity consumption, but the results weren't conclusive. In fact, it could make your AC unit perform worse. That's because the method of shading, like a tarp or an umbrella, could restrict airflow to the unit. Let me show you why that's an issue. The AC in a central air system works by first pulling the air from inside of your house and separating the heat from it. It then sends the heat out to the condenser, which is the box with a fan that sits outside of your house. The condenser's fan pulls the outside air into the unit, and then that air absorbs the heat before it's dumped back outside of the unit. In order to work properly, the outdoor portion of an AC unit requires air to flow over the coil and fan, according to Energy Vanguard. The company says objects placed directly overhead of the unit blocking the fan, like an umbrella or a tarp or even plant debris, could restrict the airflow and trap heat over the unit. If less air flows over the coil, less heat is removed, Energy Vanguard says. That means the whole cycle warms up a bit and your AC works harder to keep your home cool. So we can verify, no. Putting a shade over central AC's outside unit does not reliably reduce power cost or help it run more efficiently. And it could potentially make it run worse. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till. Now it's time for me to go back in the house where it's cool.
Gas prices continue to fall around the country, but how long will this trend last? Let's connect it up. Nationwide, prices have dropped for nearly 50 days straight. Experts say a lot of this has to do with supply and demand. When the price of gas spiked earlier this summer, people cut back on driving. According to NPR, gas consumption is down about 9% around the country compared to last year, while supply jumped about 6%. It also helps that the price of crude oil is going down. Just last week, prices dropped to the lowest we've seen since before Russia invaded Ukraine. But how long will this last? Experts aren't sure. If prices follow the usual trends, they'll continue to drop as we head into fall. But since many Americans decided to stay home while prices were high, they could potentially shoot up again this fall. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Are you having a tough time keeping up with the rising costs of, well, everything these days? We've got some tips to help you save. We're chatting about it on today's Bang for Your Buck presented by The Hartford. First, you can reduce your medical expenses by getting a flu shot. Also request 90-day supplies of generic prescription drugs instead of a 30-day supply. Second, make smarter grocery decisions by shopping at farmers markets during closing time. Items will be discounted. I like that one. Lastly, when shopping, go to a consignment shop, and for bigger ticket items, shop at thrift stores, garage sales, and online auctions. And if you're not happy with your current insurance, we've made it easy for you for quality and affordable insurance. The Buck's got your back. The Hartford will be happy to provide you solutions. Call The Hartford at 800-683-6402 or visit thehartford.com to learn more. Got anything?
No, I got nothing.
Oh,
Tori.
Great. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place.